Hi, this is Tim Davis with DoControl. So we continue to look through the different pillars of the SaaS security platform. Let's look at a SSPM use case, and this is particularly around user activity. Maybe they deactivate multi-factor authentication. Right? We're going to look at an example here using Okta as the identity provider. However, we can do this same type of thing for other platforms as well. So let's look into this example and see what's going on here. So first of all, we get an event in our real-time architecture coming from Okta in this case that says that a user has deactivated their MFA capability. So we're going to check to see, we actually care about this if this is everyone. If this is an internal user, any user in our platform, we want them to be using MFA, right? You may have some exceptions here, and if you want to manage those exceptions, this is certainly where you could do that. Now we want to check to see, is this user a power user, someone who has extended access? So maybe they're an administrator, maybe there's somebody on the IT team, could be R&D. You choose, people who have high levels of access, and MFA is an absolute must have, right? I would argue it's must for everybody, but there's always exceptions as you go along the way. So if this is someone with exceptional level of access, this is going to evaluate to true. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to initiate quarantine of that user via an API call to my Okta platform and basically deactivate that user's access until they can restore MFA. And then I'll also create a ticket for incident response and tracking here. If it's not a power user, then I can send a message, in this case via Slack, to a Slack channel that's monitored by my InfoSec team, and just let them know, hey, this has happened. This user has deactivated MFA. What do you want to do, right? It may be that I want to approve an exception and log that, in which case we'll just go ahead and send the logs to whatever platform you're tracking that in. If they may say, well, we want to create an incident. Let's investigate. Let's find out if this exception is legitimate or not. In which case, we'll go ahead and create the incident for you over here in your incident response and tracking system. In this case, Jira. It could be any platform. And then they also give the option to quarantine user and then create the incident. Right. So this would be the same thing that if it would have happened automatically for that power user. So security teams got the options here of how they want to respond if this is more of just a standard user who's deactivated their multi-factor authentication. Couple of other things to think about here, right? There's lots of other options of things that you could do from an action perspective, reaching out to the user, to the user's manager, asking why they would do that, educating the user. We could query additional information from the endpoint. Again, sky's the limit on the types of things you can do. And then, of course, this is just one example of a trigger event, but any event that's coming from an identity platform like Okta, from Azure AD, even from the applications themselves, maybe our SaaS applications that we want to look at, we can leverage all of that information coming in as triggers to start a workflow like this, very similar to this, and help make sure that your users' identities and information is being protected because they're using best practices and enforcing that. Oh, by the way, you can also use this to educate users on why they should be using MFA and how to enable it, how to re-enable it, and those types of things as well, right? So again, leaning into that shared responsibility model that we have for software as a service. This is another great use case where DoControl helping you protect your SaaS applications and the data that resides in them. Thanks for watching.